the darkness behind the glory. Leonardo DiCaprio, a shining movie star with a series of famous roles, is always seen by the public as a symbol of perfection and talent. However, few people know that behind that glory is a silent struggle with the temptations that showbiz brings. During a stressful period when preparing for a role in a heavy psychological film, Leonardo felt the pressure and stress weighing down on his spirit. One night at a private party of the Hollywood elite, he was led by a close friend to stimulant pills to help him stay awake and increase concentration. At first, Leonardo only thought he would use it once to get through long working days, but gradually he was caught up in a spiral of sleepless nights and fake feelings of excitement. He hid this very cleverly, continuing to complete film projects with absolute professionalism. But deep inside, the drugs were taking more and more control over him. One day, realizing that his addiction could destroy his career and his life, Leonardo decided to seek help. He embarked on a serious detox process, while also finding balance through meditation, exercise, and connecting with nature, the things he loved most. Ultimately, Leonardo overcame his inner darkness and came back stronger than ever, using his experience as a valuable lesson to inspire others who are struggling in life. After entering rehab, Leonardo faced the most difficult days of his life. Cravings for stimulants came thick and thick, leading to intense psychological battles with himself. But thanks to perseverance and support from a close group of friends and experts, he gradually found peace in his soul. During this time, Leonardo spent more time in nature, where he found healing and new inspiration for life. Trips to the Amazon jungle, mornings watching the sunrise on the Malibu coast helped him reconnect with himself. From here, he began participating in environmental and community activities, spreading the message about the importance of protecting the planet as well as raising awareness about mental health and stimulant addiction. Leonardo not only wanted to change his life but also wanted to make a positive difference in the world. On screen, Leonardo DiCaprio's return to deep, emotional roles has touched the hearts of fans. They see in him not only a talented actor but also a brave person who overcomes himself. Leonardo's story has become a symbol of the power of will, forgiveness and the ability to rebuild life even in the most difficult circumstances. After successfully quitting stimulants, Leonardo thought he would find true peace in life. But no, the temptations and pressures in the entertainment industry were always so great that he gradually fell into many other forms of addiction. First was workaholism. Leonardo threw himself into film projects non-stop, trying to make up for the time he lost while struggling with stimulants. He stayed up many nights to prepare scripts, filming continuously, causing his health to seriously decline. Next, he became addicted to social media. The feeling of being caught up in likes, comments, and public attention made Leonardo feel somewhat validated in self-worth. But that also created psychological fatigue and a feeling of being trapped in the image that people built for him. Not stopping there, Leonardo also gradually became addicted to alcohol as a way to reduce stress and soothe feelings of loneliness. The lavish parties, where alcohol and cigarettes were always present, were a vicious cycle that almost brought him down many times. However, every time he was in trouble, Leonardo reminded himself to change. He was determined to seek more in-depth help, not only through drug rehab but also through deep psychological therapy sessions. He learned to face his true feelings, no longer avoiding or hiding them. Leonardo also began to share publicly about this internal battle, helping to break down the stereotype that stars can also be weak and stumble. He hopes that his story will help many people understand that addiction is not the end, but part of the journey to find oneself. That night, as the living room lights flickered with the loud music of the lavish party, Leonardo stood silently in front of the bar, where glasses of deep red wine sparkled under the warm yellow light. The feeling of craving for a drink rose up in him like a fierce wave, pulling him into the familiar vortex of sorrow. Everything around him seemed to fade away, leaving only the echo in his head. Just one glass, to forget the pain. But in that moment, the image of his family, friends, Those who loved and trusted him suddenly appeared vividly as if they had never faded. And most of all, the image of himself, the one who had fallen, who had raised his head with a strong will. Leonardo sighed, his eyes dimly looking at the waiting glass of wine. His hands trembled, each passing second was like a battle between weakness and inner strength. He remembered the darkest days, the broken dreams, and the promise to himself that he would never return to that place. And then, he put down his glass of wine and slowly withdrew from the noisy crowd. Tears rolled down his cheeks, not from weakness, but from relief. Leonardo knew that the road ahead would be full of challenges, but at least tonight, he had conquered himself. "I will not let temptation defeat me again," he whispered, as if swearing to himself and to life. That night, after leaving the party, Leonardo walked alone under the dim street lights. The cold air seemed to penetrate every layer of his skin, awakening all his senses that he thought were numb. The feeling of having just overcome temptation was not the end but the beginning of a new and arduous journey. He returned to his small apartment, which used to be a peaceful place, to face himself in the mirror. His tired but determined eyes looked straight at the reflection, as if to tell himself, "I can do it, as long as I never give up." The next day, Leonardo began to change little by little. He spent more time meditating, regaining balance in his soul. He cut down on his pressing film projects, spent time taking care of his health and reconnecting with close friends, those who never abandoned him even when he was at his lowest. Every day, he reminds himself that his worth lies not in the spotlight or in famous roles, but in how he lives his true self, overcoming challenges with perseverance and sincerity. Leonardo knows that this journey is long, but he is ready to continue, no longer afraid or shying away. His story now is not just about fame, but about the power of a person to face and overcome the darkness within. After the moment he overcame temptation, Leonardo thought he would receive support and forgiveness from friends and relatives. But the reality was not as he expected. Many close friends who used to be close to him gradually left him. They were shy, did not know how to handle witnessing Leonardo's complicated changes, or sometimes they simply felt tired of the consecutive failures. The calls and messages also gradually became less frequent, leaving him with a heavy feeling of loneliness. Not only his friends, but his love also turned their backs. The people Leonardo once trusted and devoted their hearts to suddenly became discouraged by the pain and instability he brought. They chose to remain silent and gradually distanced themselves, leaving him with a deep void that could not be filled. The feeling of being abandoned made Leonardo sit absent-mindedly in a dark room many times, facing wordless pain. But instead of falling down, he began to understand that not everyone could accompany him on this difficult journey. Leonardo told himself, "If friends and relatives cannot be with me in my most difficult times, I must be the strongest one." That loneliness became the motivation for him to persevere, live better and prove that he deserves to be loved, even if he has to go through his darkest days alone.